Hello guys, question to you right away. Do you see what is wrong in this line of code? PHP Storm does underline that because you shouldn't use env function directly in the app folder anywhere. It should be config. And this is exactly what is said by PHP Storm. Env function is used outside of config files. Because if you use config cache, it would not work with env, and instead it should look like this. So config, the key of the config, and then the default value. Under the hood.config app name, we'll call the env variable, but it can be also cached. And you may provide default value here in the config or while calling the config function. So this is probably not necessary. Now, wouldn't it be cool to have some kind of function that would automatically test if no one left env in the code, whether it's ourselves or some other developer on our team or external team? And there is such a function, which is a part of Pest architectural testing. So this is the page of the documentation of architecture testing, and there are a lot of methods, expectations of what should be used or not used to be classes, and one of the methods is to be used. This example shows methods like dd and dump, which is also important, but in our case it's more simple. I've written this test called check env variables test, function name not to be used. And if we launch the test suite, it will succeed, including that no env function used because we used the config. But let's try to break this test, use env, and if we launch that again, we should get an error. Pest is telling us expecting env not to be used in the controller. And as the documentation says, you may provide multiple functions here, so this may become array. And for example, let's try dump here and add dump here, for example. So someone left dump while debugging, and let's try to launch that again. And we should be getting, we're getting the env, so let's comment out the env and let's see whether it's flagged as dump. Yep, expecting dump not to be used in the same controller. Now, important thing, the thing that I didn't manage to make working, so I've called the function used in app folder. If I put env in the blade, that test does not cover the blade. And I didn't find in the documentation how to do that. Maybe in the comments below you may provide more information. So for example, if you put env somewhere in layout app or something like that, how to track that with Pest or any other methods. And you may of course read all the documentation of architecture testing and Pest in general. Or if you are totally new to automated testing, I have a course on Laravel Daily, which is Laravel Testing for Beginners, which covers partially Pest and PHP unit and TDD architecture and everything around it. So I will link that course in the description below. That's it for this time, and see you guys in other videos.